Faber Piano Adventures Level 4, pages 14 and 15. The song is called Medieval Fair. In this piece, we're reviewing motive and sequence. Motive is basically a small musical pattern, and a sequence is a repeat of that pattern, most of the time in a different pitch. So, for instance, in this piece, the motive is, and the sequence is just the same thing, the same pattern, but moved down to different pitches. So we're going to hear that type of action throughout this piece. Now this piece is moderately fast. If you look at the metronome marking right next to moderately fast above the song, it says a dotted quarter note equals 63 to 76. So the way that you can figure out that beat is by turning your metronome to 63, and remember that a dotted quarter note in the time signature of 6/8 time gets 3 beats. So what you can do is just play the left hand, because those are all dotted quarter notes on the first bar. Every time there's a click, you play one. So watch. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And that's the speed that we're trying to keep up with. So when I play the right hand, that's about how fast the song is. So moderately fast is probably a good descriptor for this piece. Now we're playing a lot of 16th notes. Remember, in 6/8 time, 8th notes equal 1 beat. Okay, 16th notes are half a beat. And every other value has been basically changed, right? So dotted quarters aren't worth 1.5, they're worth 3. So everything's kind of doubled. Alright, I'm going to play through the piece once, and then we're going to talk about the details. So the right hand, here's middle C. We're going to go up here to A, kind of close to the treble C, and put our one finger there. And the left hand, we're going to be starting on A, middle A. Here's middle C, middle A, and E. We're just playing fifths as we begin. And we're going to play that motive in sequence. Let's take a listen. Okay, so that was the piece. There's a little bit of a ritardo at the end, and you're supposed to play those loud. I assume that the best way to do the ending is to accent the interval. Even though it says to play these loud, you could do that. You could have went. Maybe that would be more dramatic. Okay, let's talk about every single part now. So this part's actually quite simple if you follow the fingering. I'm going to start right back at the beginning. Just move over one, do it again. Move over one, do it again. And then second finger on the G sharp, and we move this one down one. We move down one again. Now we're playing just D chords broken. Now an A minor first inversion. Now we move up to this E and play an E chord, E major. And now we're repeating. The D again. A minor first inversion, then the E major. And that's basically a voicing of an A minor right there. Now, on the second page, we move our left hand down to bass C and bass G. So here's middle C, bass C, and this is low C and low G, excuse me. We're going to be playing C and G, and keeping that pulse that we had. Now this part can be hard for people. These 16th notes, you should practice them by themselves so that you can play a nice, clean speed. And you'll notice the fingering, I'm going 1, 2, 3 there. So make sure you have that down before you try to put this together. Now, putting it together at this pulse, the pulse that I was playing at in the beginning, maybe you should try a slower pulse at first, maybe like this. Now I'm coming up to E flat and B flat there, back to the C and G, back to the E flat and B flat. Now these are 16ths, back to 8s, okay? And now we're repeating. Back to the E flat, B flat, back to the C and G. Now the 16ths again with some staccato, listen. Now we're at D, C out coda, which means go back to the beginning and play until you see the coda. So I'm going to do that. Louder. Now we're at the coda, so we move over to page 15 where the other coda is and we begin. Here our right hand will be on, here's middle C, we're just on middle A, and our left hand's on the A, an octave lower. We just play broken A chords, move up to D, up to A again, up to D again, up to A again, and here's the very, very end. Our fourth finger should be resting on D now. We move this down 1 to G and D and play. Slow it down because you got a retardando. And then we move all the way down here to low E and low A and hit really loud because we have an accent mark on that. But don't hold the pedal, just and let go because the pedal ends there and it's a staccato interval. Okay, so now we know how to play through it all. One little side detail. You'll notice at the very beginning they show the pedaling and it's every single time we have an interval change or a chord change is when we're lifting the pedal. And it shows the pedal marking once, twice, and then it says pedal simile or similarly. So they're saying every time you have one of these changes, that's when you lift the pedal. Remember on your pedaling, lift after you've hit and come back down. Don't lift before, okay? And just try to fill that pulse. Practice slow. Keep a beat. Nice speed there. Excuse me on that last note. Anyway, keep a nice slow speed, alright? Then speed it up. And you don't have to play it that fast when you speed it up. Try to do it gradually. Anyway, that's pretty much the entire piece. So get your hands separate really good before you put them together. Practice slow and then increase your speed. Alright, this concludes Medieval Fair.